we're going to make a selection with the Lasso Tools. There's 3 Lasso Tools underneath. Looks like a kind of like circle with a curly Q to the left. The Lasso Tool, Polygon Lasso Tool, and the Magnetic Lasso Tool. And the Lasso Tool itself isn't something I use very often unless I'm just trying to make a quick selection. It's basically like a free-form selection. So if you don't need a square, you don't need a perfect oval, we have this Jeep, and maybe we want to just quickly cut this out and place it somewhere to see if it's even going to work. So that's what I use the Lasso tool for, and you can see I can kind of draw around it really quickly, and as soon as I let go, it creates a selection, and does an okay job. We can still use our Shift select if we need to add stuff, and we can also use our Alt click and drag and remove stuff as well. So if we wanted to try and get a better selection, we can do that as well. There are a couple other tools that work better, so I'm going to show you those next. So I'm going to go ahead and deselect this. So if you go up to select, deselect, it will remove the selection. And I'm going to go to Polygon Lasso Tool, and this actually creates more straight lines, so you can create more of a shape if you wanted to create a shape of a selection that's not a rectangle, not a circle or oval. So say you wanted to try and create a star, you could click and drag and get your star kind of shape. And again, this is freeform. As soon as you double click on this, it actually closes the selection. So right here I double click, you can see it makes that selection. And it does a pretty good job. Most of the time when I use this, I actually don't make custom shapes like this because you can't actually change these corners or make it perfect. So usually what I do, I'm going to deselect this selection, deselect. Usually it's for like in the flyer that we created for homework, it's I don't want a perfect square. Maybe I want most of it to be square, and I can really kind of hold my shift key and get a square click, here, and I'm holding shift. You can see how it constrains it, makes it a square. And then maybe I want this to be really high, and I want to follow the curve of this. So all the other corners are curved, and then I kind of create that pie shape. It does a really good job for stuff like this, or more complex items. If you want to, you can control click and remove, and you can use these tools together if you needed to. So if you wanted to use your lasso tool, you could switch back to your lasso tool and remove little sections if you needed to. Same with your marquee tool. For my money, the lasso tool, the magnetic lasso tool, kind of a tongue twister for me right now, is a really helpful tool, because what it's trying to do is it's trying to pick out colors, and it's trying to stay close to those colors for you. So if I click and start this along the tires, you can see it kind of draws right around the dirt road and the Jeep. So you can see the selection. So I'm going to go around this really quickly. It's not going to, the slower you go, the better job it does. And if it's not finding the line you want, you can actually click and add points, which is helpful. But you can also always go back and add to your selection, which is usually what I do. But this does a pretty good job of getting in there and selecting everything. And then you just double click and you make your selection. So you can see, based on our tools right now, if we were trying to cut this Jeep out, this is a much better tool than any other tool we've used so far. It's gotten pretty close to the tires, and we could go back in here and zoom in and refine this a little bit. So this is usually what I use for a rough selection, and just to see if it's going to work, and then I'll go in and use a couple different tools, which I'll show you in the next video.